So, as they mentioned, I'm Frank Gaynor. I was a direct succession into the Army Medical Department in 1979. I wanted to join the Army for two reasons: to do my clinical training at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C., and have the opportunity to be stationed in West Germany. I was young and naive and was quite unaware of what I was signed up for. I do have a vivid remembrance of my induction physical exam in Albany, New York. We were all standing around in our tidy whities, and I heard someone say, "Boy, is he short." So I started to look around. It took me a while to figure out they were talking about me. And then when I had my first one-on-one with the physician after we had gone through the weight and all that stuff, I noticed on the form he was filling out, there was a stamp there that said something about homosexuality. He never asked that question, and I didn't volunteer any information. After my training at Walter Reed, I was stationed in Landstuhl Army Regional Medical Center in West Germany. Young and single, it was wonderful. I went to Paris every 3 months, Amsterdam every 6 months. I was always on the go. In fact, I was having a bit too much fun. And my first boss, Lieutenant Colonel Mary Garfield, who happened to be a lesbian, was always looking out for me. She was concerned that I was having too much fun, and she wanted me to start dating men in their 40s. Can you imagine? Needless to say, she gave up on that desire. But there was a very large community at Landstuhl Army Regional Medical Center, and we always used to say if they kicked us all out, they would have to shut down the medical center. For example, we had 7 nurse anesthetists. 4 of them were from our community, and 2 of them were actually married to each other, a man and a woman. That's another story. So the Army sent me to get my master's at the University of Florida, and then back I went to Walter Reed. I was only there for about 10 months because I ended up telling our colonel I wasn't going to kiss his ass to get a good rating. The next day, Lieutenant Colonel Garfield, remember her? She had a new role as the career advisor for the Army Medical Specialist Corps. She called me and said, "Frank, I think you need to go to Panama." So I agreed, and off I went to Panama. Panama was the first time where being a member of our community was an issue. I'll never forget the day the commander of Gorgas Army Hospital, Colonel Gonzalez, called me into his office. So I go in, salute, stand at attention. He pulls out this small card from under his desk blotter, and he reads me my Miranda rights. He said, "You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney, blah, 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 blah." I told him the conversation was over until I had consulted an attorney. He told me essentially to be on the down low, as he did not want to lose me, as I made him and his command look good. We came to an understanding, and I never heard about the issue again. I know who outed me, my landlord at the apartment in downtown Panama City where the Army had me staying. We had words, and she quit later that week. This was 1985. I survived Panama in spite of my last year of dealing with political unrest and being tear gassed 50 times. Besides being gay and lesbian in the community, because we were gay or lesbian in the military, we knew how to be on the down low and keep it to ourselves and keep it to our tight community. Back at Walter Reed, I met my future husband in 1989. Got him good emotion. Ramon Santos. And we met the old-fashioned way, through the Washington Blade classifieds. We started to build our lives together, and I made the decision to leave active duty in 1993. The Army wanted to send me to Fort Riley, Kansas, but he's Filipino, I'm as white as you can get, and we would have stood out in Manhattan, Kansas. And we did not want to deal with the drama. My 10 years in the Army Reserves after that was relatively uneventful. I had to deal with an evangelical pastor at one point, but we put him aside. And then at one point also I was counseled by the military because I had changed my designation for my Servicemen's Group's life insurance from my mother to my best friend, Ramon Santos. And so that raised some eyebrows. I retired in 2003 after serving for 24 years. I retired as a lieutenant colonel. I'm proud of my service. I've witnessed a lot of history, and I could never imagine how far we have come since I was a young second lieutenant. I never thought I would be married and my husband would have a spousal ID card. In fact, in our retirement, one of our favorite activities is to go up once a month to Dover Air Force Base and go to the commissary. And it's such a hoot to go around and see all these other gay couples shopping. Who would have thought? And, I'd like to end with this. Ramon and I went to DC Pride a couple of years ago because we've retired from DC over here full time. And the one thing that amazed me at the Pride celebration was all of the gay federal associations. There was a gay association for everything imaginable, Secret Service, all the military. And it just, I thought in 35 years, we have come so far. And I know we get discouraged now, but I know we're going to come out on the other end stronger. And I know also we won't be silenced. Thank you.